Hello and welcome to Deccan Herald Dateline. After traveling in the Semanchal region for almost 2 to 3 days now, we are now heading towards most central part of the state, but we're still traveling north of the Ganges, on the northern banks of the Ganges. And the election campaign in the last couple of days has picked up. The model code of conduct is in place, and especially in border areas, we can see that the vehicles are being checked. Remember that Bihar is a dry state, and the alcohol is prohibited here. So apart from looking for money and other valuables, the police is also checking for the alcohol here, whether it is being illegally transported or bootlegged by people. Our next stop is going to be Begusarai, a very important place in the political history of Bihar, which is also called the Leningrad of the state. We are around 150 kilometers from there. We'll be somewhere close to Purdi, and I think we should be there in another 2 to 3 hours. We'll bring you more from Begusarai and tell you why it's holds such an important place in the post-independence contemporary politics of Bihar and the country, if one were to look at it in a larger socio-political context. A decade or so after the independence, new fault lines started to emerge in Bihar politics, with the intermediary caste and the landless peasantry seeking a larger share in the state power and, of course, demanding redistribution of land. Now that worked in direct confrontation with the landowning communities here. That movement by the peasantry was led in part by the socialist outlook building the political parties that had originated from the Congress, which later galvanized into the largest Janata Parivar. But in North Bihar, that is the north of Ganga, this entire movement was led by the CPI, the Communist Party of India, in the 60s. What further led to the proliferation of CPI in North Bihar, especially in Begusarai, was the setting up of the Barauni oil refinery there, just north of the Ganges, 14 kilometers from the town sector in Begusarai. Because of the Barauni refinery, this area became a hub of the trade union movement, laborers coming in from various parts of the country and getting jobs here. In a way, CPI became a vehicle for not just the trade union movement here, but also for the peasantry. But interestingly, in this entire political structure, the leadership of the CPI always remained, or largely remained, with the land-owning community, especially the Bhumiyas who own large tracts of land in this part. But that is also a sort of a paradox about the left movement in North Bihar, that the place came from the peasantry and the lower communities, but the leadership was always from the upper castes. Now, this entire movement, when it galvanized and separated the Janata Parivar and its movements in the 70s, 60s and the 80s and early 90s, they complemented each other to mitigate to win seats. For instance, this entire phenomenon peaked in 1991 when the Janata Dal here, then led by Lalu Yadav, along with the CPI, CPM won more than 40 seats out of 54 in the undivided Bihar. I think 8 or 9 seats alone were won by the CPI here in Bihar, and 1 seat went to the CPM. But at the later stage, what happened was that these Janata parties like the Janata Dal, which later became RJD, Samta Party, which was formed by Nitish Kumar and Lord Fernandez, started pursuing identity politics based on caste and communities, and in the process that brought them in direct confrontation with the upper caste. It is here that the communist movement in the North Bihar started raising the support base or the mass base. This phenomenon also represents the limitations of the left politics in India, which pursued the class line or the class division line and failed to factor in the caste reality in Indian politics, especially in the heartland state, where they could not go or grow beyond the point, and if they had to finally depend on the regional parties which had pursued caste or identity politics. But BJP in many ways made amends, or it understood the changing dynamics of the polity here. So while Lalu Prasad Yadav, Nitish Kumar, they pursued caste politics, the BJP, which became the obvious repository of the upper caste vote, 10 to 11% upper caste vote, because of the sharp rhetoric by the regional parties, it started negotiating its position with parties who were also pursuing caste politics, regional politics, identity politics, but in a slightly different way.
भारत माता की
In the entire political system, political parties use the caste groups as the vehicle for empowerment, and vice versa. It also happens. So what BJP did was that it negotiated its positions with the non-Yadav OBCs who were also pursuing an identity politics of a different kind. But here the pole was the dominance of the Yadavs in the state polity led by or represented by Lalu Yadav in alliance with the 17% Muslim votes. And in this negotiation, they crafted a new social alliance, the BJP, under the larger Hindu umbrella of the canopies, which is partly Hindutva, partly social justice. And Nitish Kumar became the face of this social bloc that came to power in 2005 and has been here in the last 20 years. So we see that in the last elections, it is the BJP which has been winning from Sarai Lok Sabha seats, which was considered the Leningrad of the East. Currently, the seat is represented by Giriraj Singh, who is also a Union Minister in Narendra Modi's cabinet. So this time around in Begusarai, CPI is contesting in only 3 seats. One seat is being contested by the CPM. They are part of the India bloc. They have also had to give way to other constituents of the India bloc, the Congress and the RJD. And in one seat, there is a friendly contest between the CPI and the Congress, where both parties were refusing to concede that seat. The seat has earlier been represented on multiple occasions in the State Assembly by the CPI. We will end this episode on Begusarai with an interesting anecdote. At the southern end of the town is Simaria Ghat, right on the banks of river Ganga. Across the river is Mokama Ghat. Around a century back, an ace hunter and conservationist from Uttarakhand, what is now called from the Nainital town, came here and worked for almost 20 years as a transshipment inspector. His name was Jim Corbett. Now, Jim Corbett, in his autobiography, My India, gives you a very vivid account of the socio-political, cultural life of Bihar, especially at the Mokama Ghat, because the railway line at that point in time used to run from Calcutta to Mokama Ghat along the southern banks of the river. And it was here that the railway line terminated, and all the passengers and the cargo had to be offloaded and brought to the Simaria Ghat, that is the northern bank of the river, and from here the passengers would carry further on with their journey. So Jim Corbett's account of Bihar in 1920s is a very vivid, very lively and an exact account of what the social life was here at that point in time. We will end this episode on this note, and we will see you again from another constituency as we travel across the state for Bihar elections. Thank you for watching.